We're back. So now this is the third video of this session. We know by now that this is a more accurate symbol for the ego or the physical mind. Let's use the marker. I hope it's visible enough. Unconscious, subconscious, conscious. Beliefs, emotions, thoughts. Now, we said we are going to discuss about the dual mind, right? The dual aspects of mind, not physical mind. Physical mind is tri aspects, which we have already expounded upon into detail. Unconscious, subconscious, conscious. So, this ego in itself, with these three parts, is just one mechanism of our being. Our being in itself functions in dual mechanisms. It's a dual mechanism, if you will. So we already know what physical mind is, or the ego, but then we come to the higher mind, which is the non-physical aspect of us, and it's a mind which we are catching on faster in this age than in other ages. So let me use a different color so it becomes more disparate. Okay, so this, we can use this as the higher mind, which functions as a dual mechanism with the physical mind. So this higher mind is an aspect of our soul. And what is our soul? Let's use this as our soul, because we are dreaming within our soul. Everything that we see around us, when we say physical reality, or the reality or the actuality around us is a projection of our consciousness, the only way that will be possible is if we are dreaming within our soul. Our soul then is I would say, is the totality of us that we, as the dual mind, are dreaming within and able to perceive everything around us. So, back to the dual mechanism. Humanity, for so many years, has been functioning with just the physical mind, right? It's in this new age that we are discovering that there's actually another aspect of us called the higher mind, which, like I said earlier, is the non-physical part of us that one of my favorite mentors, Bashar, he uses this analogy that the higher mind is the aspect of us that stands on the mountaintop, because this aspect of us isn't bound by time. So we, in our physical mind, view time linearly. We view time as, okay, from the past going to the future. But since time is an illusion, time in itself is an experience, if that makes sense. Reality in itself is structured in frames, just like a film strip or a book. I'm going to use Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, which is kind of synchronistic because we're talking about time. So, right, every page of this book, right, every paper of this page is a frame, or let's just say every paper of this page has its own content, its own writing, that when you read, you're able to understand, right? And when you flip the book like this, then it looks like you're flipping through the frames, right? But whatever frame or sheet of paper that we get to is the now. So this now is just a sheet of paper in the totality of a lifespan. But you see, a lifespan, which is every page of this book, exists now. So we are not going from the past to the future, right? The past, let's say if the past was the first page, okay, this is the day we were born, yeah? This is the day we were born. And the last page is the day we will, quote unquote, die, yeah? So going through life, our experiences every day we wake up is us going through these pages as frames. billions of frames per second until our inevitable death. Yeah? So, now, in itself, it's just a frame that our consciousness is traveling through. Let's use this. I didn't know I'll be speaking about time. I wanted to just speak about the dual mind, but if it's taken us this way, why not? So, frames, which our consciousness, which is us, is hurling through as an experience. It's hurling through all these frames. Every time I move a hand, my consciousness is hurling through frames that is making it appear as if I am living through time. Do you comprehend? So, we move through frames of realities that are already existent. Which is why they say that there are infinite possibilities, because there are infinite frames that are all branching to different sides. Let's say if you're moving through this frame, right? This is the beginning of your life, but you get here to a major crossroads, and it's up to you to believe that you can make it in life or you cannot make it in life. This is also another frame. So when you get to this crossroads, you branch to a different frame with a different set of experiences that are already existing now, but you're just branching into them as consciousness and experiencing them as time. So there are infinite frames. And when I say infinite, I mean billions of billions of billions of billions. If you're trying to comprehend infinity, try to comprehend first of all the number of sand particles on the beach, the number of water molecules in the ocean, and that doesn't even come close to infinity. So infinity is basically all that is, everything that is. Infinity is infinity is now, because now is the only time that we experience the infinity of being alive. Because if we are imagining infinity in this moment, then this moment is infinity. But let's not digress. Let's try to remain on point. So, higher mind. This is the mind that isn't bound by time, right? It sees in the frames that we speak of. We, or at least the physical mind, or the ego aspect of us that actually sees and experiences time and the continuity of time linearly, cannot see in frames. It sees in motion, right? So we cannot predict the future, and the past in itself doesn't exist. All we have of the past are just memories, recollections of the past that are stored within our consciousness. Because remember, the past in itself was just a set of frames that we went through as an experience. So all we can retain from the past are memories. So this higher mind, the non-physical, invisible aspect of us, since it is able to see from the mountaintop, and by mountaintop we mean able to see in frames, it knows what is ahead, it knows what your obstacles are going to be, it knows what you need whenever you need it. And it communicates all this information through what we call intuition and imagination. Other phenomena include visions, dreams, what have you. All these bizarre experiences or nudges that we have that, due to our disconnection, are unable to completely accept or heed to, right? So by not heeding to this information, this potent information from the higher aspect of us that sees ahead, we are cut off from this higher mind, and then we begin to function on just this physical mind, right? But here's the thing: if we are functioning from this physical mind, then it means we will be quite easy to manipulate, because if this unconscious that deals with belief systems is indoctrinated with disempowering ideologies, then we will keep functioning within those ideologies, those disempowering ideologies, with consequential reflection to the subconscious, which shows our emotions, conscious thought patterns, while we stay disconnected from the higher part of us. This is when the physical mind becomes a conducive component or a conducive receptacle for propaganda, right? Because if all organization or institution or all a movement or system has to do is indoctrinate you with the beliefs. If it indoctrinates you with the belief that you are powerless or that your power should come from somewhere else, then it will reflect in the subconscious, where you are going to feel disempowered as an emotion because you have a belief that you are powerless, or that you have no power, or that your power has to come from a certain source. And you're going to start thinking that way in the conscious mind. So, with this knowledge, to get in tune with our higher mind, we need to first dissect, decode, introspect on our unconscious mind, on our beliefs that we have. What beliefs do we have about our relationship to existence that keeps us from being the full, vigorous, empowered beings that we were designed to be, that we were made to be, because we are all aspects of creation. So, if you're always feeling down subconsciously, if your emotions are always down, if you're always feeling disempowered, weak, hateful, resentful, envious of others, and wondering why you feel the way you feel, then you know that we have to go here, first of all. Let go of whatever beliefs we have. And it comes, of course, with fear. If the belief that has been indoctrinated with you was done through fear, then trying to confront those very same beliefs will be fearful, because that's how fear works. That's the mechanism of fear. It doesn't want you to let go of it. It's a contracting mechanism. It is designed to keep you as small as possible through your insecurities and anxieties and whatnot. So, if with all, despite the fears, we are able to find whatever beliefs we have that serve to withhold our expansion, then we begin to feel the emotions of love, which in the beginning we just have fleeting glimpses of. Then we start to think also in a more empowering way. We start to see things, our perception starts to alter, our ego starts to mold, or at least starts to separate in a sort of schizophrenic way. Then, with the more we adapt to more empowering beliefs, then it becomes easy to connect with the higher mind, because now we freed the ego of the belief that was cutting this aspect of us off. So we begin to function harmoniously with the higher mind, which will guide us through intuition, imagination, creative streams, whatnot, to then function together as a dual mechanism, as I said earlier on. So it starts with getting in touch with our beliefs. Get your journal, write down whatever beliefs you have about yourself, and analyze them. Ask yourself questions. Don't take it from me. Sit down, ask yourself the right questions. Is this belief really working in my highest favor? Or is this belief designed to keep me so small that I can't be manipulated? And as we gradually let go of our beliefs, the physical mind becomes stimulated, conducive enough to then function harmoniously with the higher mind, which will be the most empowering state. We begin to function as a fully fledged organism, because this higher mind and physical mind, this is our natural state. This is why we are dual beings. This is why there is polarity. There is a dual mechanism in which we function. So, with this information, I will add to it. This is a passage from my book called The Dual Aspects of the Mind. I read here this passage so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about, or we can reinforce what I've already said. It said, in addition, since the physical mind is not designed to make decisions, physical mind not designed to make decisions, since it is the aspect of us in the valley and designed to live in the moment, be unconsciously overload and burden it with tasks that it was not designed to do. Tasks which include predicting the future for security purposes, mental obsessions over ambition, restrictive and time-tabulated schedules, and many other day in, day out activities. The repercussions, of course, are dire. The CNS becomes compromised, hijacked with viruses, if you will, of which advance to our emotions as resentment, self-hate, anger, victimization, frustration, self-sabotage, and so forth, which are all indications of our resistance to our original state of being. The purpose of the physical mind, which includes the brain as an antenna, because the physical mind, unconscious, subconscious, conscious, is the mechanism that functions in the brain as the receiver. So, which includes the brain as an antenna for receiving, and which also constructs and hosts our personas or identities, as we have said. The tri-mind, the physical mind, is the same as the ego. To perceive, because the physical mind in itself is only designed to perceive, which is within the brain that receives. Yeah, the physical mind is designed to perceive. Let's say if the physical mind has an unconscious belief that maybe something is wrong, right? Then anything that is projected to such a mind that thinks whatever the circumstances is wrong will perceive what is being projected onto them as wrong, because it believes or it has been indoctrinated to think it is wrong. So the physical mind perceives and is a mechanism within the brain that receives, and depends on the higher mind, which we have just mentioned, which conceives. So the higher mind is the only aspect of us that is able to conceive, to predict, to give newness, novelty in any way, shape, or form, which conceives, predicts, and guides. So this is just a passage in my book, Awaken Your Inner Artist, A Guide to Being a Conscious Creator. So we need this higher mind to guide us through intuition, imagination, creativity, creative streams. This is why most artists, you ask them where does the information come from, most of them are not going to be able to give you an answer. You're like, I don't know, it just comes, because they're not aware of the fact that the higher mind is what conceives creative data, which the physical mind just perceives in its own fractured way through the brain that receives. So this is all, I mean, the dual mechanism as a topic can be expounded upon further than what I have said or what we have discussed in this session, but we will end it here for now. So higher mind, dual mechanism, higher mind, physical mind. And in the physical mind, we have three components: conscious, subconscious, conscious. Unconscious beliefs, subconscious emotions, conscious thoughts. To get in touch, or to make sure that our physical mind is functioning in the most efficacious way, we need to first get into the unconscious to find the beliefs that influences the other two components. And by letting go of our unconscious beliefs, it stimulates the subconscious to produce similar emotions of the empowering belief that we have now substituted into the unconscious. And the conscious mind produces similar thought patterns to reflect the change or in the belief that we have made. And then the three function harmoniously to produce behavior as the ego. And when it's able to behave in a more empowering way, it then opens the path as a tri component to function dualistically with the higher mind. So physical mind, higher mind, together, dual mechanism. Without the higher mind, ego, unconscious, subconscious,